Hello, my dear students. Let's start our revision for your Aim High syllabus for this year. And I hope you are with me. Please concentrate. First, we'll start with the first question in your exam, which is the dialogue. Let's read the dialogue. And it's very important to read the first sentence because it will tell you a lot about the dialogue. Here, Huda and her friend Nora on the phone. Huda says, hello, is that Nora? Yes, hello, Huda. You haven't called for a week. Now we are going to read it as a whole, then we are going to answer each question individually. I've been ill. Then she asks a question. I suffered from a severe cold. Oh dear, didn't you? Yes, I did, but I still have a slight temperature and a headache. What did the doctor tell you? Don't worry, you'll get better soon. Let's start. Hello, is that Nora? Yes, hello. So this conversation is on the phone. You haven't called for a week. She asks a question and says, I have been ill. So the question here is, we can say, where have you been? Here is an answer. Or, what was wrong with you? These two questions can be the answer. Here, I suffered from a severe cold, means very bad cold. So what the question can be here? What? Here suffered is past simple, then use did because we don't have was or where. So where did or what did you suffer from? Another one can say, what is the matter with you? It's okay. Or what was the matter with you? The matter with you. So I can say here we have two options. I suffered from a severe cold. Oh dear, and take care of this. Here is a sentence, then a comma, then didn't you. So are we going to write a question or a sentence? I know you know this well because last year we have taken what is the meaning of the question tag. When you have a comma, then didn't you, so I need here a sentence. But this sentence, in what tense? Here we have didn't. So this sentence is going to be in the past simple. She said, yes, I did, but I still have a slight temperature and a headache. So what might the sentence here be? We can say, you went to the doctor, didn't you? Yes, I did, but I still have a slight temperature and a headache. What did the doctor tell you? In your opinion, what can the doctor say? He told me to stay in bed and take my medicine regularly. Means on time. Don't worry, you'll get better soon. She hopes to hear a good, better life, a good, better health. So don't worry, you'll get better soon. We can say, thank you, and we can add, that's very kind of you. Here is the end of our dialogue. I wish it was understandable. Here, let's move to another question in your exam. Here is the multiple choice question. Let's read the whole sentence and start choosing the correct answer. Here, defenders, offenders, pretenders, strikers are people who break the law. Who are the people who break the law? Of course, you know, they are offenders. Number 2, squirt, discharge, portray, puffle is to accompany someone. What's the meaning of accompany? To go with. What's the meaning of the word to go with someone or to accompany someone? Is to escort. Here's from Unit 2. The police have contacted some relatives of the victim to help in the treatment, harassment, assistance, investigation about the accident. Here we have police, an accident. Of course, it's, you're right, investigation. The museum, you can see Tutankhamun treasure in is in Cairo. Here is a trick in this question. When you see a museum, so it's a place. So all of you say, where? But if you complete reading, you will see that we have here in. And if we have a preposition, as I told you before, we don't use where, we use which. So take care and read carefully to the last word in the sentence. Number 6. He stopped to buying, bought a newspaper on the way home. Last time we have taken what's coming after stop. We can say to infinitive or ing as gerund. So how can we differentiate? When you read this sentence, he stopped a newspaper. In this sentence, this man is going in his car, and he stopped the car to buy the newspaper. So he hasn't stopped a habit. So in this sentence, we use to buy. How can we say buying? When shall we say buying? We shall say ing if he stopped a habit. When I say, my father has stopped smoking, he stopped the habit of smoking. Number 7, all people are left quite what? And suffering from the illness. Let's read the choices. Ecstatic, vulnerable, legal, illegal, after suffering from the illness. What happens to people when they have an illness? They get weak. What's the meaning of the word weak here? Yes, you're right. Vulnerable. Number 8, to split hair, pull someone's leg, get cold feet, get throw, means to become afraid to do something. We have taken these idioms in Unit 3, if you remember. What is the meaning of getting afraid before doing something? The meaning here is get cold feet. She, 4 units so far. Now, as I said before, read to the last word in the sentence. What do we have in this sentence? We have a key word for the present perfect tense, which is so far. So what is the word is related to the present perfect? Here we have has read or had read, has been reading, is reading, 4 units so far. If we have the word so far, we use has or have plus the past participle. Here we have singular, so we use has read. Number 10. They saw some people fighting while home from work. Here is a trick also in this sentence. So take care. When we see while, we sometimes say after while we use was, where plus ing. But take care. In this sentence, we don't have a subject. What do we have after while? We have nothing. So if we don't have a subject, we use gerund, verb plus ing. So they saw some people fighting while driving home from work. Number 11. You're always what? Photos. It's annoying. And take care of this word. When we use always for present continuous, this action must be annoying action. So we have you're always. What shall we take? Of course, taking. Why do we use this? Why do we choose taking? Because we have the word annoying and take care of the key words related to the grammar. Number 12. Do you remember to Luxor and Aswan last year? Here is another trick. Here we have the verb remember. What do we use after remember? We use to plus ing or to plus infinitive or ing. Here, what shall we use? Going or to go. This is related to the meaning. In this action of remembrance, this action happened or is going to happen. It happened last year. So it has actually happened. So here we use going. Number 13. What do we call a person? Job is to design things. And this sentence has a trick also. A person is someone, people, so we use who. But take care. Here we have a noun. If we use who, we should use a verb. If we have a noun, you're right, we should use whose. The principal speech exemplified, inspired, visualized, alienated us to study harder. What's the meaning of this sentence? The principal means the headmaster. Speech made with us, have done something with us. It inspired us to study harder, and I ask you really to study harder, and I wish you a happy term. Here, my dear students, let's move to the cleverest question of the exam, which is the rewrite. Rewrite the following sentence using the words in practice. Let's read the sentence and read what we want to use instead of other words inside this sentence. He refused my invitation because he has exam. How can you use the verb turn in this sentence? Turn has another meaning over its meaning if we put a preposition after it. We have taken the phrasal verbs. In this sentence, we have the word refused. How can turn be equally refused? We use turn, turn down. Yes, you're right. But take care of this. Refused here in what tense? Past simple. So we use turn in the same tense. So he turned down my invitation. I know you know this well. I complete the sentence because he has exams. So refused equals turned, but not turned only, turned down my invitation. So the second one, he felt ill. He ate bad food. What shall we use here? After. Take care. What is the first action? Of course, he ate bad food. What happened after it? He felt ill. This after, capital or small? Small. So it's going to be in the middle of the sentence. So let's start. He felt ill after he. After is a key word for what? For the past perfect. What is the formation of past perfect? Had plus the be of the verb. So we use had. Eat is going to be eaten bad food. Dear students, take care of this. If it's capital, it's going to be at the beginning or small in the middle, and take care of using the verbs. The first action comes in the past perfect. Number 3. After reading the menu, he chose fish. I think it's the same, but take care. After reading, I told you before that we use after we use had plus past participle. But when we have a subject? Here we don't have a subject. Then he asks us to use a subject, which is he. So let's start. After he, if we have a subject, use what? Had. The past participle of read is read the menu. Then he chose fish. I wish it's understandable or clear. She's used to getting up early. Use usually. How can we use this? What's the meaning of this sentence? Is used to getting. When we have verb to be, is are, plus used to, plus ing, this means that this is happening now in the present. So it's equal usually. What shall we do? Omit is, omit used to, and omit ing. She usually, get or gets? Of course gets, because we have a singular here. She usually gets up early. Number 5, it's her habit to go running in the morning. Take care of this sentence. Here, it's her habit means this happening in the present. And what shall we use here? With used to, we use infinitive if it is in the past. But it's in the present. So, her is going to be she is used to. Go or going? Going. Why? To mean the present. She is used to going running in the morning. Here another question which is so important, which is the question of the novel. This year we have taken and studied the novel of A Tale of Two Cities, which is by the famous writer Charles Dickens. This novel is so impressive, and I advise you to read it all as a whole. Here's a question, number 9. Why did Darnay want to speak to Dr. Manette? You know Darnay, Charles Darnay, the man who was accused of being a spy. He wanted to tell him that he loved his daughter Lucy very much and that he wanted to marry her. What usually happens to Dr. Manette at night? Dr. Manette was a prisoner in the Bastille for 18 years. So what happened to his memory? He lost his memory. And sometimes he remembers what has happened to him, and that's what makes him at night get and walks up and down his room, and who gets him back to his life? His daughter Lucy. So he usually walks up and down in his room. Lucy knows his mind was waking up and down in his old prison. She hurries to him, and they walk together until her love and company have brought him to himself. How did Mr. Stryver destroy the case against Darnay and save him? Who is Mr. Stryver? He is the lawyer defending Gurney in his trial in London. He proved that John Bassett, who was a liar. Who was John Bassett? He was a witness. Roger Clay, his servant, who was also a witness in his trial, was a hired spy and traitor. And the final witness couldn't identify the prisoner as the man he had seen at the hotel. What did Charles think of the property of his family? He saw that it was built in misery and ruin, and this is what he said to his uncle. It was a tower of misgovernment, waste, debt, hunger, and suffering. What promise did Cotton make for Lucy? He promised her to sacrifice for her, or for anyone who would be dear to her if there was any opportunity or capacity. He asked her only to remember her. What promise did Dr. Manette make to Moderne? And this is a very important question. He promised him that if Lucy told him that he was essential for her happiness, he would give Lucy to him. He would tell her of Darnay's great love for her. Here, my students, we get to the end of our revision. I hope it was understandable, and I ask you to study hard, and I wish you all happiness and success. Thank you so much.